The gentleman from Hampton, Ms. Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak about the bill.
The gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House, I truly rise with some fear and trepidation because I'm standing this time to speak against this bill. I know that what I'm doing, I've heard that it will not bode well for me to do this thing. But to be honest with you today, I just don't care. What I want to do is the right thing, and I just feel compelled to speak today. First of all, I just want to thank the gentleman from Suffolk, Mr. Jones, the gentleman from Chesapeake, Mr. Spruill, and the gentlewoman from Petersburg. I think they did a fantastic job in giving each one of us basically what we wanted. And I was right there on that front line talking about what I wanted. But last week when we were here and we had an opportunity to vote on this bill, and I sat there and it was the hardest vote I've ever taken when I voted yes, because I knew that what I was doing was for myself. The lines were drawn so it would be easier for me to get reelected, and I just didn't think about anyone else. The other people, the gentlewoman from Newport News, gentlewoman from Norfolk, the minority leader, the gentleman from throughout this Commonwealth, didn't even cross my mind. All I thought about was, is this going to be good for me? And I know as I'm standing up, I know there's going to be so much talk and probably notes and texting going on behind my back right now for what I'm doing. But that's okay. It's okay. And I want to say that I really do love this body, but no one knows and no one in my caucus realizes that I was going to stand today. But I remember walking out of this chamber after that vote. No one saw me. I ran down those back steps. I didn't even feel good enough to walk out those double doors out of this chamber because of what I had done. When I ran for election, someone I really respect and whose seat I hold now told me that anytime you start voting for something for yourself and you forget about the people, maybe it's time for you to go. And so I thought about that, and I realized, just as Dr. Martin Luther King said the night he was assassinated, the night before he was assassinated, that longevity does have its place. And I know I want to have a very long legislative history. But today, I just want to do the will of the people of this Commonwealth, and that's why I'm standing. That's why I felt like it was important for me to stand up here today. And I've heard it all. I've heard all about when the Democrats were in control, this is what they did. And that's the reason why Republicans are doing what they're doing. And if the Democrats were in this position, they would be doing the same thing. But sometimes this has to stop. This may be a radical idea, but I feel like I'm from a radical people. And I can feel today, as I sat here and I said, all I have to do is just vote no and not say a word. But I thought that's a position of weakness when I've got so many people, the blood of some radical people running through my veins. And for me to sit here and not say a word would not be paying honor to these people. I think of Fannie Lou Hamer, who said she was just sick and tired of being sick and tired of the same thing. She wanted to make sure that all the black people knew that they did have a right to vote so that their voices could be heard. That is the reason why I'm standing. And I also think of those brave women back in World War II where they didn't work in factories building warplanes and bombs, but they did. And I'm thinking then of Rosie the Riveter, and you've seen the posters of her with her little arms, her fists clenched, and she's saying, we can do this. So I believe that we can do this today. We can change the way. We can stop this as business as usual. And we could do exactly what the people of the Commonwealth sent us here to do, to be their voice. The governor appointed a bipartisan commission, and they traveled throughout this state, listened to what the voters said, and they all said that they wanted a very bipartisan redistricting plan. And I don't think that we have done that. And my final person, whose blood I like to think is just rushing through my veins, is that of Queen Esther, who found herself in a difficult situation. And she said that if she lived or if she died, and to paraphrase her, if I'm reelected or not, today I feel as if I have to go before all of these leaders and speak on behalf of the people of this Commonwealth. They've given us a job to do. And I don't believe that we've done it. And I recognize that my one little vote won't make a difference. But I hope that in all the history books, that somewhere people will remember me as someone who had the nerve to stand up and say no and vote no. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.